Hi everyone. I'm Aurora from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you a new item, a planter storage box, by Aurora. The storage box is divided into the flower pot, the floral foam, decorations and assembly. Each part is crocheted separately and then assembled together. Let's first learn the crochet method for the flower pot. The flower pot is worked onto a pre-made acrylic panel, crocheted in rounds counterclockwise. During the crocheting process, you'll need to insert a mesh board and cotton stuffing. Before starting, let's go over the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The increases and decreases explanation column shows the stitch pattern for that specific round, including the stitches used, and whether increasing or decreasing is needed. The total stitches column indicates the total number of stitches after all stitches in that round are completed. Now watch me demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Start with round 1. Before crocheting, remove the protective film from the acrylic board. There's film on both sides. If it doesn't peel off easily, use scissors to help. Remove the film from the other side using the same method. Once settled, continue crocheting. Here I'll continue using this small acrylic board to demonstrate the crocheting method. Face either side of the acrylic board toward you. Take the corresponding yarn. The sample colors are random. Specific yarn, color scheme, and hook size. Please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Leave a yarn tail and make a slip knot. Make this yarn loop slightly larger. Insert your hook into any hole on the acrylic board. Hook the yarn out. Adjust the loop size. Make it level with the edge of the acrylic board. Once completed, begin crocheting the first round. First, make one chain as the turning chain for single crochet. This beginning chain isn't marked in the chart. In actual crocheting in rounds, you always start by making a beginning chain. The beginning chain doesn't count as a stitch. This makes it convenient to mark the first stitch. Place a stitch marker on the loop on your hook to mark this spot. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a paperclip or safety pin instead. The stitches inside parentheses form a group. Curly brackets mean the same as parentheses. X, followed by a number indicates how many times to repeat the pattern. First, crochet the stitches inside the parentheses. The number before the X tells you how many single crochets to make. This means to make 2 single crochets in one space. When crocheting, place the yarn tail over your hook and pull it through together. The loop you pull through should be level with the edge of the acrylic board. Complete this stitch. After completing the first stitch, take a look. The stitch marker marks the first stitch. Continue by making another single crochet in the same small hole. That completes the stitches inside the parentheses. Make 2 more single crochets in the next hole. Now you've completed 2 repeats. Make 2 single crochets in one space. Next is 3x, which means in the next small hole, make 3 single crochets. That completes the stitches within the curly brackets. Repeat the pattern within the larger brackets for the required number of times. Continue all the way down the acrylic board's holes. Before working the last stitch, you can continue to mark it with a stitch marker. After completing, check the stitch count. The total stitches per round are indicated in the chart. I won't repeat this reminder. The stitch count on the swatch is not for actual reference. After finishing this round, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch. Make sure to pull tight. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. When crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch and pull tight. The first round is complete. We'll consider the side with neat texture of the first round as the right side of the piece. The wrong side has a relatively blurry texture. Trim off any unfinished yarn tails. Move on to crochet the second round. Our 2 is 13 single crochets, increase, times 6. Make 1 chain as the beginning chain of the single crochet. This beginning chain is not marked in the chart. In practice, when crocheting in rounds, you always start by making a beginning chain. We won't repeat this reminder later. Also note that, to make it easier to join with a slip stitch at the end of each round, after completing the beginning chain for single crochet each round, you can mark the loop on your hook. Actually, you may choose whether or not to mark based on personal preference. Then work 13 single crochets. Also note that, to keep the stitch pattern neat, you can pull the yarn slightly to the left when making each stitch, which helps reduce angling in the stitches. After crocheting this way, the texture of the stitches will be straight and vertical. After completing, work 1V single crochet increase, which means 2 single crochets into the same stitch. This completes the single crochet increase. The stitches inside the parentheses are now completed. Repeat the stitch pattern inside the parentheses, all the way around the round. The last stitch of this round should be worked into the last marked stitch from the previous round. After completing, make a slip stitch into the first stitch of the round to join. Pay attention, at the end of each round, always join with a slip stitch to the first stitch, and pull tight. Round 2 is completed. Continue to crochet the third round. Make 1 beginning chain, then work 7 single crochets according to the chart. One single crochet increase. Then crochet 7 more single crochets. This completes the stitch pattern inside the parentheses. Repeat the stitch pattern inside the parentheses, all the way around the round. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The third round is complete. Crochet rounds 4 to 7 next. All stitch techniques used have been demonstrated before. Increases and decreases explanation means the same as before. Just follow the stitch pattern order in the table. Repeat the corresponding number of times. At the end of each round, remember to join with a slip stitch to the first stitch, and make sure to pull the slip stitch tight. Among them, rounds 6 to 7. Work even means to crochet into each stitch accordingly. Here is the small sample after completing crocheting. Because it's a swatch, there are fewer rounds. The fabric has raised textures as your guide. Starting from this round on the acrylic board, count upward. The number of raised textures equals the number of rounds crocheted. This swatch here has 5 completed rounds. This is the method for counting rounds. Also pay attention, after finishing the 7th round, you need to measure the height and compare it with the dimension given in the chart. If the size differs significantly, adjust your tension and recrochet. Now continue to crochet the 8th round. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work 17 single crochets. After completing, make 1 a short stitch decrease. First, make 2 incomplete single crochets separately. Insert into the left stitch. Yarn over and draw through to hook out. 1 incomplete single crochet is completed. Crochet 1 more stitch. Insert into the left stitch. Yarn over and draw through to hook out. Now 2 incomplete single crochets are done. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. The single crochet decrease is completed. Continue with 17 more single crochets. One group within the parentheses is completed. Repeat this group pattern to finish the entire round. I'll demonstrate the single crochet decrease technique once again. First, make 2 incomplete single crochets. Then yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. The single crochet decrease is done. Continue following the chart to complete this round. After finishing, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Round 8 is complete. From now on, continue up to round 19. No new stitch techniques are used. Just follow the chart and complete up to round 19. Continue using this swatch to demonstrate round 20. BLO means crocheting into the back loop of the stitch. Take a look. A stitch consists of these 2 strands. The strand closer to you is called the front loop. The other strand is called the back loop. This entire round is worked by picking up only the back loops. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work single crochets into the back loop of each stitch from the previous round, 1 by 1. Complete this entire round. If it's difficult to insert the hook into the first stitch, pull the yarn slightly to the right. Then continue crocheting. After completing the single crochet, you'll see a strand of yarn in front. That's the front loop of the previous round. Finish by joining with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Round 20 is complete. Rounds 21 will be worked in the same way as round 20. Similarly, work single crochets into the back loops. For rounds 22 to 23, work even by picking up stitches without increasing or decreasing. Continue downward, follow the pattern chart to complete these rounds. Next, I'll continue with this swatch. To demonstrate round 24, flow means to crochet into the front loop of the stitch. Work 1 chain. Then pick up the front loop of each stitch from the previous round and work single crochets evenly. After completing the single crochets, you'll see a strand of yarn left behind. That's the back loop from the previous round. Continue down to finish this round. After completing, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Round 24 is complete. From here down to round 39. No new stitch techniques are used. Everyone continue to follow the pattern chart and complete these rounds. During the crocheting process, you'll encounter situations where you need to join yarn. Below I'll demonstrate the method of joining yarn. First, work an incomplete single crochet, then take out the new yarn. Leave a yarn tail and draw the yarn through. This completes the single crochet and at the same time joins the yarn. Continue crocheting downward. While crocheting, keep the yarn tail above the hook and work it in as you go. This is the method for joining yarn. This is the swatch after finishing. Then chain 1 to secure. Leave a yarn tail at least 4 times the circumference of the opening for sewing later. Now work round 40. First join the yarn. Make a slip knot with the yarn tail. Locate the stitches from round 26. Take a look. On the right side of the fabric, you'll see the front loop texture. Find where the front loop texture appears for 2 consecutive rounds. Here it's rounds 25 and 26. The stitches of round 26 are the insertion point. Then count down to round 23. That is, this one. The second round of picking up stitches and crocheting evenly. Exit at the stitch position of round 23. Then turn the last round downward. Join the yarn where the hook was inserted. The insertion point here. You can start at any position around the round. The entry and exit points should be as straight as possible. After pulling up a loop, adjust the loop size. Then work into each corresponding stitch position one by one. Crochet an SL slip stitch. Here, do not tighten the slip stitch. Continue all the way around until this round is complete. When you reach the last stitch, make one more slip stitch at the joining point. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Gently tighten. Then tuck all yarn tails to the wrong side. Tie the two ends together with 2 knots to secure. This completes round 40. Next, assemble the flower pot. First, take out the grid panel. Wrap it around the acrylic board to determine the circumference. The grid panels on both ends should extend beyond a bit. If they are too long, you can cut off the excess. Then take the crocheted piece that was worked, fold inward along rounds 20 to 21, that is, fold from bottom to top. These 2 rounds with front loops will be at the front. The height after folding should roughly match the flower pot's height. After folding, fit the grid panel against the flower pot to check height. Mindful not to let the grid panel exceed the flower pot's height. Cut off the excess part of the grid panel. Note, you can leave a few extra grids here, to prevent cutting too much at once, and losing room for adjustment later. Once trimming is done, place the grid panel inside the fabric piece. Check the height again. Rounds 20 to 21 with front loops should be at the top. And the fabric should lie flat without sagging. Then take out the grid panel. Double check the circumference. After removing the grid panel, you can reduce it by about 2 grids. Then use a stitch marker to secure the size. Next, take any yarn. Thread the yarn needle on the overlapping side of the grid panel. Sew around using any method. Gently tighten as you sew. After sewing, check again. Fit well against the acrylic board. Note: the sewn grid panel should not extend beyond the acrylic board. If it does, you'll need to reduce by 1 grid. Sew it again. Tie a knot to secure the yarn tail. Trim excess tail. Now the grid panel is fixed in place. Next, place the grid panel on the inside of the fabric. Stuff fiberfill between the grid panel and the inner layer of fabric. Fluff up the fiberfill slightly before inserting, then stuff it inside. Note, more decorations will be added later, so use less filling cotton here. Add more stuffing toward the lower part. Use less toward the top. Don't add too much filling. You can use a long tool to help adjust the stuffing evenly. This is the sample after stuffing is complete. Continue folding the fabric inward from round 20 to round 21. Thread the reserved yarn tail onto a darning needle. Then sew the last round of single crochet stitches together with the first round stitches and the small hole. Make smaller intervals when inserting the needle. This will make the sewing tighter. Sew around in a circle like this, all the way around. When sewing, the last round of single crochet stitches do not need to be sewn together evenly, just sew around roughly evenly. Take a look. This is the sample after sewing. Then, inside the fabric where there is stuffing, pass the thread through several times back and forth. Next, tie a knot with the yarn tail. Then pull the knot into the inside of the fabric. Trim off any excess yarn tails. This hides the yarn ends neatly. The assembly is complete. Next, let's tidy up the shape of the mesh board. Make the flower pot as round as possible. Up to this point, the entire flower pot is completely done. Now let's look at the crocheting method for the floral foam. The floral foam consists of 2 layers, top and bottom. Both layers use the same crochet technique. After completing each layer separately, then join them together for crocheting. Note that you need to finish crocheting and assembling all the top decorations first, before joining and crocheting the 2 layers together. No new stitches are used. Now let's start crocheting the upper layer of floral foam. Begin with an adjustable magic ring. After completing, make 1 beginning chain. Work 7 single crochets into the magic ring. After completing, gently tighten the starting tail. Don't pull too tight. You'll need this small hole later. Then join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Continue to crochet round 2. Make 1 beginning chain, then work 7 single crochet increases, SC2 in 1. When crocheting, don't place the starting tail on top. After completing, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. Round 2 is complete. From now on until round 11, the techniques have all been demonstrated earlier. Refer to the chart and finish the remaining part. Here's the sample after finishing the upper layer with shrimp braid. Smooth it out flat. Put the shrimp braid in the middle of the pot to fit well. If it's slightly larger than the pot opening, remove one round. Once the size is confirmed, leave a yarn tail at least 4 times the circumference of the outer edge of the shrimp braid, for joining in round 12. This completes the upper layer of shrimp braid. For the lower layer of shrimp braid, simply pull the starting tail tight. Leave a short tail and cut the yarn to finish. Then take out the mesh board. You can fit well with the shrimp braid afterward. Cut out a slightly smaller piece of mesh board. Place the shrimp braid directly flush against the mesh board. Then cut along the edge. Be mindful not to cut into the shrimp braid underneath. Alternatively, you can first draw a circle on the mesh board, then cut out the mesh board. Now demonstrate the method of drawing a circle. Take a yarn tail slightly longer than the diameter of the shrimp braid, fold it in half and tie a knot. Adjust the position of the knot. Make the loop slightly smaller than the radius of the shrimp braid. Then use a sewing needle as the center point. Use a pen to mark on the mesh board at the other end of the loop. After drawing, double-check the size. Then cut along the marked line on the mesh board. Here I've already prepared one. Take a look at the mesh board after cutting. It should be 1 round smaller than the outermost round. Now the mesh board for the shrimp braid is ready. Next, learn about decoration. Decorations include pot decorations and plant decorations. First, learn the pot decoration. It's divided into feet, ears, inner ears, nose, tail, and assembly. Among them, the ears and tail. Don't use any new stitch techniques or methods. Refer to the chart. Now let's look at crocheting the feet. Start with a foundation chain of 4. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Next, watch the demonstration. First, make a foundation chain of 4. Two means begin crocheting from the second to last stitch. Pick up the top loop of the chain stitch. Work 2 single crochets. Then make a W3SC in 1. That is, work 3 single crochets into the same stitch. The 3SC in 1 is now completed, then rotate the piece. On the left side, pick up the other 2 strands at the chain. Crochet 1 single crochet. That is, insert the hook into the placement of the stitch below. Continue with a single crochet increase. After completing, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. The first round is complete. Rounds 2 to 3 do not introduce new stitch techniques. Refer to the chart. This is the sample swatch after completing crocheting. Next, let's work the round 4. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 8 single crochets. Then, 4T-Q bobble stitch using half double crochets. Here, square brackets indicate the stitches inside are worked into the same stitch. The way to make a 4-stitch half double crochet bobble is, first work 4 incomplete half double crochets. Note, this stitch should be placed 1 stitch to the left, at the insertion point below, meaning into the stitch from round 2. While crocheting, wrap over the top of round 3. Yarn over. Insert the hook and pull the yarn through. 1 incomplete half double crochet is now done. Slightly pull up the loop on your hook, then use your right index finger to press down on the loop on the hook. Work another incomplete half double crochet. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Note, crochet into the previous insertion point. Yarn over and draw through. Slightly pull up the loop. Another incomplete half double crochet is now done. Continue working 2 more incomplete half double crochets in the same stitch. While crocheting, press the loop on the hook with your right index finger. Keep going. The DC4 bobble stitch is now completed. Continue to the stitch on the left from the previous round. Work 1 single crochet. Tighten slightly as you crochet. The bobble stitch loops should flare outward. Continue and work another 4 DC bobble stitch. First, below the left stitch position of round 2, work 4 incomplete half double crochets. Pay attention to pull up the loops higher. After completing, yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. The 4 DC bobble stitch is now completed. Then work 1 single crochet into the stitch from the previous round. Work another 4 DC bobble stitch on round 2. Three single crochets. Join with a slip stitch afterward. This completes round 4. For the following 5th round, work 8 single crochet decreases. After completing, stuff a small amount of fiber fill inside first. Then join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Leave a long tail and fasten off the yarn. Sew the opening closed after completion. Thread the reserved yarn tail onto a yarn needle. Pick up stitches sequentially from front to back. Insert through the front loop of the last round stitches. Pull tight the yarn tail after picking up all stitches. Then pick up the adjacent segment and sew to secure. Weave the tail over to the back of the foot. This forms a bobble stitch using 4 half double crochets, serving as the front of the foot. With that, one foot is complete. As demonstrated here, crochet one more foot. Now let's crochet the inner ear. Start with a magic ring. After completing, make 3 chains to start. As the turning chains for the double crochet, continue crocheting 5 double crochets into the magic ring. After completing, tighten the magic ring. Crochet 1 chain to secure. Leave a 5 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. With that, one inner ear is completed. As demonstrated here, crochet one more inner ear. Next, let's crochet the nose. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique used is the T-half double crochet. Now, let's show. Make an adjustable magic ring, then work 6 single crochets into it. After completing, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. The first round is complete. Then move on to round 2. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 1 single crochet increase, SC2 in 1. Then follow the stitch pattern inside the brackets. Here, work 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. And 1 single crochet. The stitches inside the brackets are completed. Continue by working 1 single crochet, and 1 half double crochet into the next stitch. This completes one group of stitches inside the parentheses. Repeat and work the same group inside the parentheses once more. After finishing, leave a 10 cm yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Pull out the yarn tail. Then thread the reserved yarn tail onto a yarn needle. Now proceed to sew and finish off. Insert the needle from front to back into the second stitch. Then weave it through where the yarn tail is located. Gently tighten, so that the segment on the surface forms a braid. This completes the sewing and finishing off. You can pick up strands on the wrong side to secure it. Now the nose is complete. After all the flower pot decorations are crocheted, now proceed to assemble. Position the beginning chain of the flower pot at the back. Assemble on the front. Start by sewing on the eyes. Take the corresponding yarn and thread the sewing needle. Locate round 9 of the flower pot. Count 4 to 5 stitches from the middle toward each side. Then mark them with stitch markers. Meaning there are 9 to 10 stitches between the two markers. Adjust the exact number of stitches according to your preference. Next, sew on the left eye first. Leave a yarn tail on the outside of the flower pot. Then at the marked stitch, sew 4 to 5 vertical lines upward over 2 rounds. And one eye is done. Follow this method to sew another eye. Now both eyes are attached. After sewing, bring the needle out through the previously left yarn tail. Tie the two yarn tails together with a knot. Pull it back into the flower pot. Then trim off any excess yarn tails. And the ends are neatly settled. Next, on both sides of the eyes, between round 8 and round 9 of the flower pot, 2 stitches away from the eyes, slantingly sew 2 blush lines. Skip 2 stitches between the 2 blush lines. Mindful not to pull the segments too tight. Secure the yarn after sewing. And the blush is done. Then slightly below the blush on both sides. Around rounds 3 to 5 of the flower pot. Sew the 2 feet horizontally. Make sure the right side of the feet is facing up. Use any sewing method you prefer, just secure them firmly. The exact position for attachment can be adjusted according to personal preference. After sewing, weave in ends and cut the yarn. And one foot is done. For the other foot, use the same method, so it's symmetrically opposite. Now take the corresponding yarn and the nose. The yarn tail of the nose should be at the bottom. Then sew a T shape on top. After sewing, you can dip the yarn needle into a little glue and apply a small amount underneath the line segment. This will help the thread lie flat. Then tie a knot to secure the tail on the wrong side. Trim off excess tail. Once secured, glue the nose onto the eyes. Position it in the middle, slightly lower. Leave a little tail and then cut off the excess. This is a sample swatch for demonstration, so I won't glue it down. Next, take the ears. Use the slip stitch side as the end point. Fold the ear in half, then place it in the correct position. Here, place them on both sides of the foot, close to the opening of the pot. Make sure both ears are symmetrical. Once the position is confirmed, pinch the ear to create a curve. Following this curve, pick up stitches from the surface of the pot fabric and sew together with the 2 layers of stitches from the last round of the ear. Use any method to secure it firmly. Slightly tighten the yarn tail while sewing. Weave in ends and cut the yarn after sewing. Then take the inner ear. Trim the reserved yarn tail slightly shorter. With stitches facing up, attach it to the middle of the ear. Be mindful not to use too much glue to prevent overflow. Press for a while to secure it more firmly. One side of the ear is now sewn on. Repeat this process, and attach the other ear as well. Finally, stuff fiberfill into the tail. Locate the back of the front-facing expression. Below the flower pot area. Sew the last round of the tail at this position. Use any sewing method you prefer, just make sure there are no small holes after sewing. Weave in ends and cut the yarn. The tail is now securely attached. That's all for the flower pot decoration. Now let's move on to the plant decorations. Starting with the large strawberry, medium strawberry, small strawberry, large strawberry stem, small flower, calyx, large leaves, medium leaves, small leaves and assembly. The large, medium, and small strawberries are basically similar. The crochet methods have all been demonstrated before. No new stitch techniques are used. Now I'll use the small strawberry as an example to demonstrate how to close the opening and sew on the strawberry seeds after finishing crocheting the small, medium, and large strawberries. This is the swatch with just the final round left unworked. First, stuff some fiberfill inside. After stuffing, continue to complete the last round. Then leave a yarn tail and fasten off. You can add a bit more filling cotton into the opening. Thread the yarn tail onto a darning needle. Pick up the front loop of each stitch in the last round one by one. Tighten the tail. Run the remaining strand through the inside several times. Tie a knot and cut the thread. That's how to close up the strawberry. Next, sew on the strawberry seeds. Take the corresponding color yarn and thread it onto the sewing needle. Sew small line segments onto the strawberry. Sew in any way you like. Make sure the seeds aren't too big when sewing. About the size of one stitch is fine. Place the seeds away from the closing point. Don't pull the thread too tight while sewing. This way the strawberry won't pucker after sewing. Weave in the end and cut the yarn after finishing. That's how to attach the strawberry seeds. Follow the demonstration shown here. Complete all large, medium, and small strawberries accordingly. Now let's crochet the large strawberry stem. Start with a foundation chain, and form a magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Next, watch the demonstration. First chain 5. Then pick up the first stitch of the beginning chain. Make 1 slip stitch. That completes the foundation chain ring. There's a small hole in the center of the starting point. Now crochet the first round. Make 1 beginning chain into the small hole of the starting point. Work 10 single crochets. Finish with a slip stitch in the first stitch. The first round is complete. Continue to crochet round 2. First work the stitch pattern inside the brackets. Work 3 chains. In the first stitch make 1 F double crochet. Then make 1 picot of 3. The technique for this stitch is, first work 3 chains. After completing, pick up the front loop of the double crochet below, and the thread from the left side. Work 1 slip stitch together with them. Pull tight. The picot of 3 is now completed. Then work 3 more chains. This completes the stitch pattern inside the brackets. Then work 1 slip stitch into the stitch on the left. This completes one group inside the parentheses. Let me demonstrate another group. First work 3 chains. Work 1 double crochet into the stitch on the left. Then make a picot of 3. First work 3 chains. Then pick up the front loop of the previous double crochet stitch, and the thread from the left side. Work 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The picot of 3 is completed. Work 3 more chains. Work 1 slip stitch into the stitch on the left. This completes the stitch pattern inside the parentheses. Repeat the stitch pattern inside the parentheses down. Make 3 more groups. After completing, secure the yarn and cut the yarn. This way the large strawberry stem is finished. Follow the crochet method shown here. Crochet the remaining required number and set aside for later use. Continue to crochet the small strawberry stem. Start with a chain ring method, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise. The new stitch technique used is CH1 picot. Next, Please watch the demonstration. The casting on and the first round crochet method here are identical to those of the large strawberry stem. I've already crocheted here. Move on to work round 2. First work the stitch pattern inside the brackets. 2 chains. Make 1 half double crochet in the first stitch. Then 1 ch1 picket. The way to make this stitch is, first make 1 chain. Then pick the front loop of the half double crochet below, together with the thread on the left side. Make 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The ch1 picket is completed. Then work 2 chains. So the stitch pattern inside the brackets is finished. Next, make 1 slip stitch in the stitch on the left side. This group inside the parentheses is completed. I'll demonstrate another group. First work 2 chains. Make 1 half double crochet in the stitch on the left side. Then make 1 ch1 picket. First work 1 chain. Then slip the front loop of the stitch below, and 1 strand from the left side. Make 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The ch1 picket is completed. Then work 2 chains. Make 1 slip stitch in the stitch on the left side. This completes the stitch pattern inside the parentheses. Repeat the stitch pattern inside the parentheses downward. Crochet out 3 more groups. After completing, secure the yarn and break the yarn. This completes the small strawberry stem. Follow this crochet method. Crochet the remaining required number and set aside for later use. Continue crocheting the small flower. Start with an adjustable magic ring, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise. Now, let's show. First, make an adjustable magic ring. Then work 5 single crochets into the ring. After finishing, pull tight the magic ring loop. Join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. The first round is complete. Switch colors for the next round. Weave in ends in this round. Move on to crochet round 2. First, attach yarn in the slip stitch of the previous round. Then work the stitch pattern inside the brackets. Chain 2. 1 FB double crochet increase. That means work 2 double crochets in the same stitch. So the double crochet increase is done. Then chain 2 into the stitch where the double crochet increase was made. Make 1 slip stitch. So the stitch pattern inside the brackets is completed. Repeat this group of stitches. Crochet the entire round. After completing, secure the yarn and fasten off. Trim off any excess yarn tails. So the small flower is completed. Follow this crochet method. Crochet the remaining number needed and set aside for later use. Next, crochet the calyx. Start with a magic ring, crocheting in rounds counterclockwise. No new stitch techniques are used. Now, let's show the cast on and first round of the calyx are identical to the first round of the small flower. I've already finished crocheting here. Now continue to crochet the second round. Work 3 chains first. Then starting from the second chain from the hook, pick up the top strand and make 2 slip stitches. Continue to make 1 slip stitch in the first stitch of round 1. So the stitch pattern within the brackets is completed. Repeat this group of stitches downward. Crochet all the way around to finish this round. After completion, secure the yarn and cut the yarn. The calyx is now completed. Follow this crochet method. Crochet the remaining number needed and set aside. Now we'll crochet the large, medium, and small leaves. The crocheting methods for large, medium, and small leaves are similar. All begin with a chain stitch. Work back and forth in rows. Pay attention, when crocheting the last row, wrap the wire. The new stitch technique used is 3SC in 1. Next, I'll demonstrate the crocheting method for the small leaf. For the other leaves, refer to the demonstration and follow the chart. Start by chaining 6. After completing, work row 1. Make 1 beginning chain, then insert the hook into the top strand of the second chain from the hook. Work 1 single crochet. Continue to work 4 single crochets into each stitch correspondingly. Then work 3 single crochets into the left side chain. You can make the middle stitch of these 3 stitches. Place a stitch marker to mark. After completing, turn the piece on the other 2 strands of the left side chain. That is, at the placement of the previous row's single crochet, work 4 single crochets evenly into each stitch. Row 1 is complete. Continue to crochet row 2. Starting from this row, each row will work into the stitches from the previous row. Crochet into the back loop only, away from you. Make 1 beginning chain. After turning the piece, work single crochets into the back loop of each stitch evenly. Continue until you reach the stitch marker placed earlier. After completing, pick up the back loop of the left side stitch. Make 1 SC3 in 1, that is, work 3 single crochets into the same stitch. So the SC3 in 1 is completed. Continue by placing a stitch marker into the middle of these 3 stitches. After completing, work into the back loop of each stitch evenly. Work 4 single crochets. Row 2 is now complete. Move on to row 3. This row is similar to row 2. Make 1 beginning chain. After turning the piece, pick up the back loop of the left side stitch. Work single crochets evenly into each stitch. Continue until you reach the stitch marker placed earlier. Then at the marked stitch with the marker, make 1 SC3 in 1. After completing, pick up the back loop of each stitch evenly. Work 5 single crochets. Row 3 is now complete. The remaining 2 rows of the small leaf are similar to row 2. Pay attention that the number of stitches varies per row. Refer to the chart. When working row 5, wire will be added. Now I'll demonstrate how to add the wire. This is a sample swatch of the small leaf, with 1 row left to go. Refer to the measurements given in the pattern. Cut a piece of wire to the required length. Fold it roughly in half at both ends. Place the center point at the stitch marker position on the leaf. The 2 ends of the wire should be 1 to 2 stitches shorter than the second to last row. Bend the wire downward. Double check the length. Then twist the wire tightly. Next, wrap the wire. Follow the pattern and crochet the last row. After completing, leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Tidy up the shape of the leaf. Use the side without exposed wire as the right side. Or use the last row as the right side. Weave in the end on the wrong side. This way the small leaf is completed. According to this demonstration, refer to the chart and finish crocheting the remaining large and medium leaves. That concludes the instructions for large, medium, and small leaves. Now proceed to assemble the plant decorations. First, attach the strawberries and their stems. Here, install the small stem onto the small strawberry. Install the large stem onto the remaining strawberries. The installation method is the same for all. I'll demonstrate the assembly using the small strawberry as an example. Cut a piece of wire to the desired length. Thread it through the closing point of the strawberry. Here you can pick up a few extra segments. Then fold the wire in half. Tighten the wire. Then take out the corresponding stem. With the wrong side facing the strawberry, pass the wire through the starting point of the stem. Next, apply a bit of glue to the closing point of the strawberry. Be mindful not to use too much. Then attach the stem to it. Remember to tuck the yarn tails inside as well. Press it for a while to secure it more firmly. If you want it to be even more secure, you can use the remaining yarn tail from the stem to sew it onto the strawberry. After securing, trim off the excess tail. This way the strawberry and the stem are assembled together. Next, continue using the strawberry to demonstrate the wrapping method. Take a small amount of glue with your finger, and apply it onto the wire. Apply glue in small amounts multiple times. To prevent excess glue overflow, take the corresponding yarn and wrap it around the wire. While wrapping, continue applying glue as you go. Wrap it like this until it reaches the point where it should show on the surface. Or you can wrap a bit more if needed. Then cut off the excess yarn tail. Then wrap the yarn around the wire to secure it. The yarn wrapping is now complete. Now let's take a look at the physical example. Here, for the small flower and its calyx. First, pass the wire through the center of the back of the flower. Fold it in half, then insert it into the back of the calyx. And finally wrap the wire around the stem. For the leaves, take the corresponding yarn and wrap it around the wire as well. Refer to the previous demonstration for the wrapping method. Once all the plant decorations are wrapped, gather them together and wrap them again. If it's hard to pick up stitches on the back of the small flower, use a yarn needle to help lift a few strands through. Pay attention not to go through to the front side. Thread the wire through the yarn needle's eye, and pull it through together. That's how you pass the wire through. Take a look. Here you can start by taking a bunch of small strawberries, small flowers and any leaves. Wrap them together for a certain distance. Then gradually add the remaining plant decorations one by one. Arrange the strawberries from smallest to largest, placing them from bottom to top. Position the rest of the leaves and small flowers according to your preference. Again, don't wrap the entire length of the wire. Stop wrapping when you reach the desired height for the plant. Here I'm using an arbitrary branch. Demonstrate the assembly after completing the wrapping. The actual plant shape is not for reference. Take out the upper layer of floral foam. You can use a crochet hook to expand the center. Creating a larger hole. Then insert the plants from the front side. After inserting, bend the wire outward in all directions around the small hole as the center. If any part extends beyond the outer edge of the floral foam, pay attention to fold it inward. Remember to keep it inside. Gently tighten the starting tail after completing. Once the tail is secured, take out the mesh board prepared earlier. Apply glue onto the mesh board. And attach the upper layer of floral foam. Continue applying glue on the mesh board. Then glue on the lower layer of floral foam. Pay attention to align the upper and lower layers of floral foam. Press for a while to make it more securely glued. Wait until it's securely glued. Pick up the reserved yarn tail from the upper layer of floral foam. Pull the yarn through. Then go to the left. Insert your hook into the corresponding stitches of both upper and lower layers of floral foam. Work slip stitches, not tightened, evenly into each stitch. Complete this round. After finishing, leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Then weave in the ends. Now the decorative plant is assembled. Once completed, you can adjust according to personal preference. Bend the wire of the plant into the desired shape. Up to this point, this planter storage box tutorial is completely finished. If during the crocheting process, there are still unclear parts, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.